My ex-husband and his new wife demanded custody of my daughter after ghosting her for 8 months. I'm 33, and I was married to Peter, now 39, for 8 years. We divorced a year ago after he admitted to a 3-year affair with his college ex, Mandy, 38. I was blindsided, especially since we have a 4-year-old daughter, meaning he kept cheating even after she was born. It was beyond messed up, so we split. I chose to raise our daughter alone. A few months after the divorce, Peter married Mandy. I found out through her friends since we stopped talking post-divorce. I got full custody of our daughter, and Peter only saw her on weekends under my supervision. But after his wedding, he vanished completely. Honestly, I was fine with it, no more awkward silences while he played with her and I sat in another room, fighting the urge to kick him out. During the divorce, he showed up a few times on weekends, and I allowed it because our daughter enjoyed their time together. But when he disappeared, I didn't chase him. It's been almost a year since the divorce, and I hadn't seen him in about 8 months. I'd been focused on work and raising my daughter, my life revolves around her. But last weekend, Peter showed up out of nowhere, and we had a heated confrontation. When I opened the door, I thought he was there to see our daughter, but he said he needed to talk to me. That felt weird, we hadn't spoken in nearly a year, but I let him talk. He dropped a bomb. Mandy was threatening to sue me for custody if I didn't hand over our daughter soon. According to her, I'm a single mom who can't give our daughter a decent life, while they can, so I'm supposedly denying her a proper childhood. She thinks this justifies accusing me of neglect. Peter stood there, demanding I give them my daughter right now, saying they'd start legal action because I'm incapable of raising her alone, per Mandy's opinion. I lost it and slammed the door in his face, telling him to get lost or I'd call the cops. I couldn't believe he thought he could waltz in after ignoring our daughter for nearly a year and demand her like that. Mandy's threats didn't scare me, they were absurd. She can't sue me for neglect just because I'm a single mom. That's nonsense. But I was terrified Peter would keep coming back, stirring up memories for my daughter. It was hard enough helping her move on without telling her the ugly truth about her dad. I couldn't go through that again. The idea of him having any access to her freaked me out, especially after the creepy stuff he said. He didn't even seem to realize how unhinged his demands were. To feel safe, I decided to move in with my parents temporarily. It was convenient our nanny could take a few days off too. 2 days after Peter's visit, I moved to my parents' place and have been there since. He didn't reach out again until the day before yesterday, when he showed up at their house. He knew it was the only other place I'd be. With my parents there, I felt stronger and ready to fight back. Our daughter was napping upstairs with my mom watching her, so I could say whatever I wanted without her hearing. Peter looked upset and said they weren't actually suing, they couldn't even if they wanted to. But he still thought it was unfair that I got full custody just because he cheated. He admitted the real reason he came back was that he and Mandy felt an emptiness without our daughter in their lives. Apparently, Mandy met her a few times when Peter took her out during our marriage, and they started seeing themselves as her parents too. Mandy believed she could be a great stepmom if I gave her a chance. Peter argued it was unfair for me to demand full custody, knowing he had no shot at joint custody because our daughter's so young and he cheated for 3 years. His demanding job, late hours, frequent business trips, meant he couldn't care for her full-time, and I barely know Mandy, so she had no claim to custody either. His lawyer only secured visitation rights, which he ditched after the wedding. I don't get how this is my fault. He blew his chance at joint custody by cheating and then agreeing to give me full custody. Yet he's blaming me, saying he just wants to reconnect with our daughter, and Mandy does too. He insisted they deserve another shot to be parents because it'd be good for her long term. He even warned I'd regret not letting them build a relationship now, claiming our daughter will one day ask why I kept her dad away, and the blame will fall on me. He swore that despite cheating, he was always a good dad, and Mandy desperately wanted to see her again. I didn't know what to say, but I knew how I felt. I'm not okay with them being near my daughter. I have zero trust in them. Peter betrayed me and lied for 3 years. Mandy was complicit in that. After everything, their request to be part of her life felt absurd. I told him the past can't be undone, and he needs to accept our daughter isn't his anymore. He was gone for 8 months, and I struggled to explain his absence to her. I'm not doing that again just because he and Mandy suddenly want to play parents. I told him to leave and slammed the door. Since then, he's been texting me nonstop, begging for a chance, saying our daughter needs him as much as she needs me and that I'll regret shutting him out when she grows up and resents me. It's gotten to the point where I'm questioning if I'm wrong for keeping them away after he cheated and ghosted us for 8 months. What do you think? Should I let them back into her life? Before we move on, I'd love your thoughts in the comments. My take has two sides. As a mom, I totally support her and would probably do the same. It'd feel awful to let a deadbeat dad back into my kid's life after 8 months of nothing. But from a legal or societal perspective, I think a father should have a chance to regain some access, not full custody, but maybe limited visits. People make mistakes, cheating sucks, but it doesn't erase that she's his daughter. He was gone for 8 months, but that doesn't mean he can't be involved moving forward. Mandy, though, has no claim to her, period. Let's hear your opinions, and let's jump into the first update. Update 1, 2 days later. I've decided not to let him back into our lives. I was crazy to even consider it, but seeing him for the first time in ages messed with my head. I talked to my parents, who were dead set against even speaking to him. They think he's a terrible person who ruined my life and tanked my chances at future relationships by lying and cheating for 3 damn years. Our marriage seemed fine, I guess not for him. Most comments on my post advised cutting him off and getting a restraining order. That's my plan if he shows up again. He's not the type to give up easily. I've contacted my lawyer, and we're working to terminate his parental rights. A father who abandons his kid for months without a word and then strolls back when it suits him doesn't deserve to be a dad. I know that better than anyone. I don't even know what he was doing those 8 months, so it's wild he thinks I'd welcome him back with open arms. Tough luck, dude, that's not how it works. I've blocked him everywhere. His last texts, trying to guilt-trip me, just made me sick. He painted me as the villain, like he's the poor guy whose daughter was taken because of my cruelty and selfishness, as if he didn't cheat and vanish. I can't believe I let his sudden reappearance get to me even a little. I'm not as over this as I thought. I can't afford to be weak again, so I'm taking the advice I got here and looking for a therapist. It'll take time, but maybe I can stop replaying his betrayal in my head. Update 2, 3 days later. Peter sent me an email explaining why he came back after all these months, and honestly, even for him, it's next level insanity. I'm glad I already talked to my lawyer and am one step ahead, because some stuff he wrote is seriously alarming. He said after our divorce was finalized, Mandy told him she didn't want him talking to me anymore, so he gave up custody to focus on his new family life. Apparently, they broke up in college because Mandy was too family-oriented, while he wanted a woman with ambition beyond marriage and kids. But over time, they both changed. When they reconnected at a college reunion a few years ago, they realized they'd made a mistake and started the affair. Mandy dumped her boyfriend at the time, and Peter claims he wanted to tell me. But by then, I was pregnant, and the longer he delayed, the harder it was to confess. Mandy even grew attached to our daughter. Things got too complicated, and he let the lies drag on for 3 years until he realized he couldn't live like that forever. He confessed, we divorced, and he gave up custody to be a good husband to Mandy. But then they realized Mandy's too old to safely have kids of her own. Instead of trying to have a child or adopting, they decided to ask me to let them co-parent the daughter Peter already has. That's why he showed up. When intimidation didn't work, he tried a softer, manipulative approach, which also flopped. Now his last-ditch effort was this email, laying out their truth and hoping I'd sympathize. He said Mandy felt like a mom to our daughter during the times they were together without me, and she just wants that life again. I'm the only one who can give them that family they always dreamed of. Gotta give them credit for the audacity to send that to the woman whose life they wrecked. They lied and cheated for 3 years, including when I was pregnant, and now they expect me to be kind and let them play house with the kid they ditched like an old toy less than a year ago. Just because Mandy's too old to have kids and they want a family? They could adopt, go for surrogacy, anything, but no, they chose the dumbest, most unhinged move and tried to pressure me into giving up my daughter. She's not a dress or a toy to pass around. I knew they were nuts, but this is next level, even for them. I'm glad I forwarded the email to my lawyer, it's pure circus. The idea that I'd agree to this is so absurd it doesn't compute. It takes a special kind of delusion to approach the woman you betrayed with such a ridiculous, entitled request. I'm relieved my daughter's too young to understand this, because I can't even wrap my head around explaining it to her. If this wasn't happening to me, I'd be dying to know what was going through Peter and Mandy's heads when they cooked this up. It's insane. My only goal now is keeping my daughter and me safe, because who knows what these two might pull next. I don't trust them one bit, and this email proves they're untrustworthy. Update 3, yesterday. My lawyer contacted Peter, telling him we filed to terminate his parental rights and he needs to sign the papers ASAP or face a new custody battle, which nobody wants. He didn't take it well. A few hours ago, he and Mandy showed up at my parents' house as I was leaving for work. I told them to get off our property or I'd call the cops. They stepped onto the street but kept arguing. Mandy said I'm ruining my daughter's future because everyone knows I can't raise her alone, and my selfishness is denying her a real family. I can't even describe how wrong and insulting that was. This woman, who wrecked my life, has no right to tell me what my daughter needs or what a family is. She and Peter destroyed a perfectly happy family, and now they want to play happy family with my kid. Even a mental patient would see how absurd that is. I snapped and screamed at her, beyond furious. I'm perfectly capable of raising my daughter alone. I have a job, make enough to live comfortably, and give her the life she deserves. I'm not worried financially. Maybe I'll remarry someday, and she'll have a stepdad, but right now, I'm enough for her. They're the ones who cut her out for a year because she wasn't convenient. Now that they want her back, suddenly I'm the unfit mom? They're so delusional it hurts to think about. I told them to leave because I was late for work, but Mandy threw a tantrum, sitting in the middle of the street, saying I couldn't leave until I let her see my daughter and she wouldn't move until I complied. It was wild. I asked Peter to get her out of there, but the idiot sat down next to her. If I wasn't so mad, I might have laughed. Thankfully, my dad saw how done I was and called the police to remove them. While we waited, they kept arguing and threatening to protest me for deliberately depriving my daughter of a happy life. That word deprive kept triggering me because I'm doing everything for my daughter. I'm sure when she grows up, she'll appreciate that I didn't let her unhinged dad back into her life. Who says she'd be safe with him? For all I know, they could kidnap her and run if they felt like it. They've already shown they don't care about anyone else. I told them exactly what I thought, but they insisted I'm just out for revenge and keeping them away out of spite. Well, duh, who wouldn't feel that way? They ruined my life. It's fair and logical to have a personal vendetta. The argument dragged on until the police arrived and took them away. Even then, they didn't get how crazy they were acting, threatening to come back and not let me keep them from their daughter. That scares me on a whole new level. I stayed home from work because their stunt left me paranoid. I also filed for a restraining order today. It should have happened sooner. They showed how nuts they can get when things don't go their way. It was almost funny, like a clown show, but also genuinely terrifying. I'm doing everything to get these two out of our lives for good. I'm moving to a new apartment soon because no address Peter knows feels safe anymore. Update 4, final update. I've moved to a new apartment, and Peter has no clue where I am. I got the restraining order, and I now have full legal custody of my daughter. These past few weeks, I've kept my sanity and finally climbed out of this absurd mess. I don't know what Peter and Mandy are up to, and I told all my friends I don't want to hear about them or have them know anything about me. Peter kept texting from different numbers, going quiet then popping up again, while Mandy spread nasty rumors about me. They tried hard to ruin me, but they failed. My daughter and I are doing fine, and that's all that matters. I'm her family, and she's mine. This story's over. After all this, you realize how solid American laws are with restraining orders. Putting myself in the mom's shoes, I'd be terrified of these unhinged people too. But legally, it's tricky. Should a father get even one monthly visit with his kid? Aside from that street stunt and ghosting for 8 months, because Mandy wouldn't let him see us, he might deserve a chance to see his daughter if she wants it. Let's debate in the comments. Should he get limited access or not? I'm ready for some spicy comments saying I'm wrong, but put yourself in his shoes. You had a family, fell for someone else, left, and got caught up in that relationship, but now you want to reconnect with your kid, and you're shut out. Is that fair? Think about it. Thanks for watching this video to the end. Check out our previous video linked here and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay safe.